Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, aka Uncle Tex, aka Professor Tex. Before we start, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, share. Any comments, any questions, comments, leave them down below. I normally do this on Tuesdays, as you guys well know, but things happen. Tuesday is normally my wrap up day of the week of that football of the seventh week, which it would have been life. That's all I can tell you. Life happens. You got a daughter. You got things that you got to go do. Some things just come up unexpectedly, and you got to handle it. So I'm gonna try to run through these pretty much quick as possible. Some I'm gonna just dilly dally with a little bit and whatnot. We're gonna start with the Arizona and New Orleans game. That was a good game, the best Thursday game that they had thus far. 42-34, barn burner. Like I said, Murray got D Hop back. That's all I can say. That and the defense picking off the Red Riflemen twice. Both secondaries are suspect, especially New Orleans, who's supposed to have a better defense, but both secondaries are suspect. Kyler Murray, like I said, these quarterbacks are not having really, it's only a couple quarterbacks actually having really good years right now, thus far in the season, young in the season. Murray, 20 for 29, 204, one touchdown. That's fine, but not a lot of big yards. It wasn't, although he got targeted D-Hop 14 times, 10 times for 103 yards and whatnot. Benjamin ran the ball good, 92 yards. Murray only had to run the ball 30 times. Defense was the key. 2 big pick sixes and whatnot. Red Rifleman put up some numbers and whatnot, 4 touchdowns, but he threw 3 picks. And he threw 2, and on top of that, he threw 2 pick sixes, and that's never good. That is never good. Go here to the Cincinnati Bengals and the Atlanta Falcons. This game actually became close because Cincinnati jumped on them early and often and whatnot. So by the time you started getting to like latter part of the game, they actually had a chance, actually had an opportunity. Burrow, he went off 34, 42, 481, 3 touchdowns. I don't know who has a better core of receivers right now in the game than would you have Boyd, Chase, and Higgins. Boyd, 8, $155, 1 touchdown. Chase, 8 catches, $130, 2 touchdowns. And T. Higgins stretching the field and whatnot and everything like that for 18.6 a reception and whatnot. Mixer ran the ball so pretty good or whatever like that. But, Burrow, he did his thing and whatnot. Got to give props to him on that and whatnot. But his game, it got closer. Then I think it was an interception or a fumble or whatever that ended up happening because they could have actually – it was a 28-17, and then Atlanta did what Atlanta does now, and then, of course, that ended up going over to 35, and they never could get back into it and whatnot, but it was a little bit closer. They kind of slowed things down, but they were still able to do that. Like I said, the Bengals, again, a very interesting team to me. They have so much talent, but they will shoot themselves in the foot and start doing things that's not good for a football team to do. But their talent always will keep them around in games, and Burrow's going to keep plugging away at it. That deal with their defense and whatnot, but we'll see what happens. Like I say, still a little bit early, but we'll see what happens. They're trying to get their mojo back. Dallas, 24-6 over Detroit. Shouldn't be no surprise. Dak comes back. Dak has basically a solid game. He's rusty, 19 for 25, 207, 1 touchdown. Now, these are the type of stats that you're getting when you're running the ball well, and this is kind of going on throughout the league right now. Jared Goff, 21 for 26, 228 yards, 2 picks. That was a telltale sign of the game and whatnot right there. Pollard, 12 carries, 83 yards and whatnot. Zeke, 15 carries, 57, 2 touchdowns and whatnot. CeeDee Lamb had a decent day and stuff like that. Like I said, this is a game they were supposed to win, and not a lot to even talk about with that. They're supposed to win that. Like I said, Dak looked a little rusty. They say a little rusty, but all these quarterbacks is not looking great. You'll see a theme of these stats. It's not no gaudy stats. Just a couple of quarterbacks is putting up gaudy stats right about now. Tennessee and Indianapolis. Again, I had Matt Ryan last week. He ended up having a good game. He threw the ball. I think that was his curtain call. Matt Ryan looked god-awful against Tennessee from the different highlights that I saw. 2 touchdowns, 2 bad picks and whatnot. His shoulder is supposed to be messed up. I know they're going on with old Sam I Am, Ellinger, coming back, my boy from out of Texas and whatnot. Tannehill, 13 for 20, 132 yards. No touchdowns, no pick. They ran Derrick Henry, 30 carries, 128 yards and whatnot. No touchdown. They played tough defense. They played tough defense and whatnot because this is how Tennessee uh, just somewhat solid quarterback play, running game, solid defense. They don't have no barn burners. And like I said, I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. So there'll always be a team, in my opinion, who's going to be 11-6, probably hit you with the 11-6, 12-5 or something like that or whatever every now and then and stuff like that. And they might shock you in the first round or something like that. Might get the division game, but they're not going to get anywhere. They don't have no barn burners. They don't have that, in my opinion. And Ryan Tannehill, like I said, poor man's Kirk Cousins. I'll always keep saying that. He's not the one. But hey, pick who you pick. This game here, didn't see this coming. I figured Green Bay would get their stride back and whatnot. But again, Washington came out, played ball against Green Bay. Again, let's look at these stats of quarterback. Here's another gaudy stat quarterback. Suppose that Aaron Rodgers, 23-35, 194 yards. Normally you see that he's either 2 or possibly a 3 in front of that, where that one's at, and a couple, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Not bad quarterback rating, but look at it. This is the telltale sign right here. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon combined for 38 yards on 12 carries. And these guys have a nice thunder and lightning package with them. The thing that keeps Washington up around, that strong, young defensive front. I've been talking for them like the last couple of years and whatnot since they got together, like I said, and whatnot. When you look at that defense on them, when you got these guys, like whether it was Deron Payne, whether you got Montez Sweet, when you have let me see, my man, let me see my man, I don't know if Allen did. I guess Allen, I want to say Allen played. I guess he may have didn't play and whatnot, but they have a strong defensive front up there. That's what's keeping them around. You can't really just line up and just run the ball on them. You can beat them probably passing and whatnot, but you just can't line up and run the ball. They're going to give a lot of resistance. And Rodgers was stifled. Tyler Heineke came in 20 for 33, 201, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Like I told somebody, oh, man, and they ran the ball somewhat decent and whatnot, pretty decent on Green Bay, because you can do that with Green Bay and whatnot. But at the same time, I say Heineke could give him 4 or 5 games until he started falling off the rail. Another poor man's Tony Romo and whatnot. Not consistent, but like I said, he's not the answer. Sorry, guys. If you're going over here to Carolina and Tampa Bay, real quick with this here, they lose Christian McCaffrey and they end up winning the game. Bucks drop under 500. Brady 32 of 49, only 290 yards. Threw the ball almost 50 times and no touchdowns, no picks or anything like that, but 290 yards. They're not running the ball. P.J. Walker 16 for 22, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Who would have thought that? Deontay Foreman from out of Texas, hook 'em arms and whatnot. 15 carries, 118 yards. Chuba Hubbard, another guy from out of the Big 12, 9 carries for 63 yards and whatnot. I'm like, they rushed for almost 200 yards on these guys. And they're supposed to have a defense, and they rushed for almost 200 yards on these guys, and they came up with 21 points on these cats. And like I said, no Christian McCaffrey, and they go ahead and only win. Tampa's in trouble right now. We'll see what happens, but like I said, that's why, like I told you, life happens, and life right now is happening with Brady. New York and Jacksonville, game of inches. This was a good game. Right there on the 1 yard line, my man couldn't get in there. But like I said, Giants was playing solid ball. Look at Daniel Jones, 19 for 30, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, right? Nothing spectacular. But he ran the ball 11 times for 107 yards. 20. So he's using his legs. Something that was a cross or like the devil when quarterbacks, and you know what quarterbacks I'm talking about, start running the ball, but now these guys are running now. It's an everyday occurrence and whatnot. I figure if I'm paying you a couple of $1 million a year, you can't just sit up there and chunk the ball out of bounds and call it a day. But then again, other quarterbacks never did that. They wouldn't have made a play. Saquon Barkley's doing his thing by saying, it's Saquon Barkley. I said, well, shit, he should. He's been out for damn near 2 years. He should be fresher than a goddamn pack of Krispy Kreme donuts. But, it is what it is. Lawrence, he's on somewhat of a guard. He's at 22, 43, 310 yards. Didn't throw a pick. Travis Etienne, my man did pretty good. 14 catches, 114 yards and a touchdown. Caught the ball nice and everything like that. So it's like, they had a chance at the end. They couldn't get in. They caught the ball on the 1 yard line. Them guys they tackled him and made sure he didn't get in the end zone. So that was a good play. That was a good game. And that was a good game and whatnot. This one right here, again, when you start talking about Baltimore, they sit up there. This time the Ravens hold on in the late 23-20 against Cleveland and whatnot. Again, no gaudy stats. Lamar, 9 to 16, 120 yards, no touchdown, no pick. Gus, I was glad to see Gus come back. 16 carries, 66 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. They ran the ball well. They kind of held Nick Chubb. He was getting off early, then they kind of slowed him down some. Jacoby threw the ball relatively well. He threw the ball actually really good and whatnot. But like I said, you have a couple of missed things that end up happening and not going your way and whatnot. That's what happens. A couple of plays here and there, but it went the way that it was supposed to have went and whatnot. And Baltimore came out there with a win against Cleveland. Like I said, I can't wait to see Deshaun Watson try to play and like to see this those two, quote unquote, as they say, go head up and whatnot. But that was good to see Baltimore get their somewhat of the groove back and with them. Not much with this game here. The only sad thing about this game here is my man from the like I said, New York won. New York won again. Zach Wilson, 16 for 26, 121 yards. That's it. Brees Hall had that 70-some-odd yard run, and he blew his ACL, and he's out for the season. And I saw Brees Hall. He played for Iowa State, if I believe, like a couple of times. He's like offensive player of the year in the Big 12 and whatnot. Nice back, really good back and whatnot. Kind of hate to see that. And they were playing and whatnot. So we'll see what happens and whatnot with New York. But like Zach Wilson's going to have to get better than what he's doing because he got sacked a couple of times and he looked a little bit out. He made a couple of plays here and there, but not going on. As for the Broncos, until the Broncos get their act together on offensive play calling and whatnot, Broncos will continue to be in a free fall and start and continue to lose and whatnot. Whoever's back at quarterback. Raiders and Houston and whatnot. Raiders got it 38-20. Everybody's talking about my man there, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is 20 catch for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nice contract year. He was off last year, had a decent rookie year, somewhat of a decent second year, off last year, and now it's this year. So that rookie contract. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, I like to see him get up a little bit better. Don't want to see him fade off and whatnot, but he's good for them and whatnot. Carr, 21 for 27, 241 yards, 1 touchdown. Nothing that gaudy and whatnot going on. Getting the ball to Devontae Adams the way he's supposed to. Watching this kid, Damian Pierce, run the ball, he's pretty good. We'll see what happens with this guy, Davis Mills. They've been talking about him, say, but you got to win games. Put up some stats. You got to win some games, though, man. Got to win some games and whatnot. So it was there for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, they ran away with it. And which the Raiders should run away with it with the talent that they got over there and whatnot. This is a good game in Seattle. Coming out party. And watch this kid play at Michigan State. I'm going to Kenneth Walker III. That 74-yard touchdown run was like that. 23 catches, 168 yards, 7.3 yards a lick, 2 touchdowns. They pretty much Justin Herbert's throwing the ball 50-some times in the game. Still didn't hit 300-yard mark. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Didn't run the ball well. This is a team that got talent again. Them and Cincinnati are similar and whatnot. But I think Cincinnati is probably a little bit better coached. Geno Smith, 20 completions, 27 attempts, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Marquise Golden, 4 catches, 67 yards. And he got one real nice touchdown when he went up there and got it. And everybody's saying Geno Smith, man, Geno, man, he doing this, that, the other. You do realize Geno Smith came in to the league, I think about a year, I want to say a year before. I think he came in the league in 2013. 2013 and Russell Wilson came in 2012. Geno Smith is doing something Geno Smith would have been doing 5-6 years ago. So I'm just basically gonna say about goddamn time. So I ain't going down that road. It's about time. Okay, dude, about time. Should have been doing it. Hell of a game here. Kind of when I figured the way it was going to go, kind of start out slow and whatnot. You kind of thought that, oh man, San Francisco got something for him, but it's like, nah. Ironically enough, they hurry up, put Christian McCaffrey in. Let's see what C-Mac did. I know people say, man, you hate me at 8 catch, 38 yards, as long as it was a 12. Okay, 12 yards. Okay, got that or whatever. Jimmy G, 25, 37, 303, 2 touchdowns, 1 in. But like again, like I said, they couldn't. Their defense couldn't slow this down over here. 25, 34. Mahomes, 423, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Ran the ball relatively well, but not big plays. San Francisco's probably had the best defense and whatnot like that. Mahomes just ripped right through them. Still, I will say best in the business. Period. End of story. I know you want to give it to somebody else, but he's best in the business right now. 16-10, Miami and whatnot. Tua comes back. Tua comes back and whatnot. 21-35, 261 yards, 1 touchdown. Solid numbers. Solid for him and whatnot. Raheem Mostert, another good running back. Mostert that was in 49, with 16 catches, 79 yards and whatnot. Defense was the key with this here. Pittsburgh dropped the interception that possibly could have ended the game. I know they're trying to get Pickett. You should have heard Chris Collinsworth slob-knobbering this guy and whatnot. Man, if he can win this, if he can win that, really trying. He threw 3 picks. I don't care if you got potential. I don't care this, that, yeah. Throwing 3 picks is not going to win you a football game. Miami would beat them 16-10. And right now, Pittsburgh is reeling big time. Never seen Pittsburgh defense like this. It's been some years since I've seen the Pittsburgh defense like that. And this game was just tickle me. I didn't expect this to happen. Didn't see this happening. But I will say this here. What did surprise me a little bit is the knee-jerk reaction with Mac Jones that Bill Belichick had with Mac Jones. It's like he hurried up and yanked him. It's like he was waiting to yank him. So they throw Zappy in. Zappy immediately takes him downfield, puts some light in him, but guess what? It didn't last. So the combine between the both of them is 188 yards passing. 198 yards passing. 1 touchdown and 3 picks. Right? 17 of 28 for 198 yards, 1 touchdown and 3 picks to combine the both of them. Now you think about somebody like Mac Jones, who's already had to sit back and watch Zappy last week light it up, comes back. He goes through his little funk, the 3 for 16 for only 13 yards. They're calling for Zappy. Zappy goes up in there and lights the fire for a hot second, but that got extinguished out because Chicago was on that ass. Chicago's defense was on that ass all night long and whatnot. Justin Fields finally, 13 of 21, 179, nothing to brag about. The kid is still scared to throw the ball down the field. You can look at him and tell one of the passes that he caught for a first down, that was caught for a first down, he had a wide receiver on the fly. All he had to do was slow up, plant, and throw the damn ball. And he didn't see him. He's scared to go downfield. Everything is short with him, so he's going to have to get his confidence up to throw the ball downfield. He has an arm. He has to do that. He doesn't have the confidence, so he keeps everything in front of him, which is fine for right now, but he's going to eventually have to let it go. They ran the ball very good. I'd say he had 82 yards rushing. David Montgomery had 62 yards rushing. Both of them had touchdowns, and Khalil Hibbert, 62. So you're looking at, they almost rushed for almost 200 yards against the pass. And pass normally have a pretty stout defense and whatnot and everything. And my man was all over the place. From my man Roquan Smith, all over the place. 12. That joker had like 12 tackles. 12 tackles, and he had an interception and whatnot, and he had a sack, so he played his ass off. So like I said, he said it was so quiet you could hear a mouse piss. That's a good one. Yeah, man, but that was going on. And that's my wrap up, man. That's my wrap up for week 7 and whatnot. Get ready for week 8 and whatnot for the game tomorrow. Whatever game. Let's see what game coming on tomorrow, Thursday, and whatnot. See if it's going to hopefully be. Oh yeah. It's Baltimore. Yeah, I want to see my man Lamar turn it out tomorrow. I want to definitely see that go down and whatnot. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's like I said, that's week 7 and whatnot. We'll see what happens. I want to see what's more is going to go on because it's so the irony of everything. Like I said with Carolina, C-Mac leaves, they win. San Francisco get them. I say, okay, that's it. Here we go. They're going to win. I guess this was the reincarnation of the $1 million backfield and whatnot. So we'll see what happens with that whole situation there, man. Because all the talent and stuff that they got there and whatnot, that doesn't necessarily means W's and whatnot. So we'll see how they use with Debo. On paper, it looks good. And if they was going to showcase any of that, even before he got there, that should have been showcased. Some of it was there, but not a lot of it was there because Kansas City does not have a strong of a defense. So we're going to see what happens in due time with the situation with. We're going to see. That's all I'm saying. We're going to see what happens with these cats and whatnot and what goes on with them. And like I tell you guys all the time, man, go back, might come back with a little something later on this week. Like I tell you guys all the time, there is no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time as long as time's still going on. And like I tell you guys all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. You guys have a good one.